Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. My name is Vuyo Twala. I am a director for Punk Coffee Roastery. Punk Coffee Roastery started in Bahrain. Bahrain is an island that is in between Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and in Qatar. It's a small island that is in there. So that's where this whole company started at on 2019. But then due to coronavirus, so everyone struggled back that side. So Palm Coffee Roaster also was also affected with that pandemic that happened in around the world. So we had to shut down the company. We started Palm Coffee Roastery again. That was last year on October in Cape Town. That's when we started to run the barista training around Cape Town, and then now we decided that since a lot of people from Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, Eastern Cape, they are asking us to start opening branches on their locations. So we decided this year, let us spread Palm Coffee Roastery around South Africa so that we can give a lot of people hope in their lives. So people, they will start working and have a skill that they will never suffer for work anywhere around the world. This skill that we are sharing with you guys is in demand internationally. You will never suffer for a job, even if you can go to America tomorrow. If you have this skill, you have a certificate showing that you can do this, and when they take you behind the coffee machine, then you can show them that you can really do this work. You will never suffer for a job anywhere around the world, I promise you. Even if you go to UK, you can go to Dubai, you will never suffer for a job. Every day they need someone to hire. Every day there's a coffee shop opening somewhere. Every day there's a hotel opening somewhere. You'll be able to work around the whole hospitality industry. You'll be able to work in coffee shops, in restaurants, in hotels, and also in events. All right? Sorry. With this skill that we are sharing with you guys. So you guys need to take this thing very seriously. It's a life changing for a lot of people. Remember, like places like Eastern Cape, a lot of people from Eastern Cape, they will go to Cape Town, to Johannesburg, to Durban to go and find work. Instead of them finding work in those big cities, what they do, they don't have a skill that will help them to get the work that they are looking for. Some people, they only have a metric, which is metric is not a skill. People, they don't hire a metric. They hire a skill. A skillful person. They need your skill in order for them to hire you. So if you just come and give them your metric certificate, that means nothing to other people unless you are applying for that for government work or something. All right? So you need to have a skill. So this is the skill that we are giving to you guys everywhere around the world. Hospitality industry is a very important thing. Only here in South Africa, only few numbers of people, they really know this kind of thing that I'm talking to you about. A lot of people, they will travel outside South Africa without paying money to travel. The employer will be the one paying everything, all the fees for you to go and travel to that side. And when you get that side, you're not going to suffer to find a place to stay. They'll pay for your visa, they'll pay for your flight ticket, they'll pay for your accommodation to stay, they'll pay for your transport fee for the whole month up until you get your salary. Then after that, you can pay for your own things after that, but then they'll only cover your accommodation, probably your transport fee also, if your agreement says they're covering your transport fee. Do you understand? If you have this skill, but you need to have something, then no one can just hire someone who doesn't know anything. They only hire people who have a skill of doing something. You need to understand that it's very important for you guys to learn this kind of skill. And the good thing is, through this course that we are giving to you guys, you can also be able to run your own coffee business. We give you options. You can run your own coffee business yourself. You can be self-employed, and we can assist you to be a self-employed person. We can franchise. We can give you Punk Coffee Roastery branding, everything. We can help you with that. You open your own coffee stall or coffee shop. We assist you in everything, including on baristas. We give you machines for hiring. We give you the bar. We give you the bar, obviously it's going to be printed with our logos. We give you the coffee cups that is printed also with our logo, Punk Coffee Roaster logo. We give you uniform that is also with Punk. So which is, you are representing Punk, but then you are making your own business. The thing that you do on us, the thing that you have to buy on us is our coffee beans and our coffee cups. And then you're operating your business by yourself. We will only give you invoice for our coffee beans and our coffee cups, that's all. So which is, you have a very big opportunity to uplift your life. All right, so I wish you guys, you take this whole thing seriously. I know that it's a new thing in so many people. It's a new thing in so many people, but the good thing is you have someone like us who's going to educate each and every one of you guys about this industry, and also assist you guys. When the course is done, when the course is finished, we will assist you on getting a job, right? It's either you work with us, our organization, Punk Coffee Roastery, here in South Africa or in Bahrain, or you work for our clients that are there around the GCC countries. We communicate with them. They have their terms, but we will let you know about their terms, because each agent's companies, they have their own terms, right? So we will let you know about their terms, but you will get a job outside South Africa. You will go and work abroad. Do you understand? We will talk about these other things after the course or during the course about all these other things. But at the moment right now, I want you guys, when you're signing in saying you are joining this organization, you need to join this organization with your full heart, knowing that what you are joining will change your entire life. It might also change the chain on your family. You know, you might also open doors for other people on your family, because once you start traveling outside, you will never stop. It's like a drug. You see, it's like a drug. When people started drugs, they never stop. Even if you try to help them out, but they don't want help. You understand? So it's the same thing. Once you start traveling just one time, you will never stop traveling. And I will take you there now myself, because it's going to be your first time. But the next time, and the other next time, and the other next time, it's going to be you who's going to take yourself to any of the other countries. You will be the one traveling to other countries. So many people have taken them to one country, but then now most of them, they're in America, in UK, anywhere or other countries. But I only took them to Bahrain, or I took them to Dubai only. But then now they are travelers. Do you understand, guys? You guys, you need to start this. Remember, outside South Africa, there is a currency difference. There is a currency difference. If you're getting paid 10,000 in South Africa, you're getting 10,000, let's say in Dubai, for example. 10,000, you're 10,000 in Dubai. Do you know how much is that? It's around about 40 something thousand rands when you're converting it. That money, 40 something thousand, you will never earn it in South Africa working in a hospitality industry. But you can earn that amount of money if you're working outside South Africa. Do you understand, guys? This is the opportunity that I'm giving to you guys right now. So you need to take it seriously. Take it seriously. It's a cause. It changes lineage. Because I'm here with you guys and I've traveled. I've stayed abroad for over 10 years, traveling to different countries through this coffee industry thing, through this hospitality industry thing. I've walked around the world. I've traveled so many countries. I've been to over 9 countries already. Do you understand, guys? This is a lifetime opportunity that you should grab it with your both hands. It's very important for you guys to grab it with your both hands. All right. Okay. So anyway, let's just leave that. Today I'm going to train you guys about the introduction of coffee first. You know, in order for everyone to learn about something, you need to know the background, the roots of what you are learning about. We can't just take people and say you are a barista without knowing what does the barista means. We can't say we are hiring you into a coffee business without you knowing what is coffee itself. You need to know what you are selling. You don't sell something you don't know. You understand? So we're going to take you guys to the background of coffee first, where it was firstly discovered. There's a story behind that thing. It's more like a bedtime stories, but it's not. It's based on a true story. So this actually talks about the old man from Ethiopia who discovered coffee beans around the world. His name was Mr. Kaldi. So also it goes like this. Dated back in 13th century. That was long time ago, before the machines, before the electricity, before any of those things. That was long time ago. So there was this old man. His name is Mr. Kaldi. So Mr. Kaldi is a goat head. Sorry. A goat head is, these guys, we call them ondate. We say ondate. Those guys will normally take goats to the mountain to go and feed the goats in the mountain and stays with the goats till they come back. Those are the goat heads. So in Ethiopia, there was this old man. His name is Mr. Kaldi. So Mr. Kaldi usually takes his goats to the mountain to go and feed them. But his goat, every time they go to a certain tree with bright red fruits in it, so they're eating those fruits, and then every time they're coming back from that, they start jumping up and down and they're misbehaving. It's like they have big energy in themselves. They're jumping up and down, they're moving up and down, you understand? So it's like they're drunk or something like that. Yeah. So Mr. Kaldi noticed that his goat, every time they go and eat to this certain tree, they have energy. They have so much energy on them. So Mr. Kaldi decided to go and report this to the village. In their village in Ethiopia, Kafa, the village name is Kafa in Ethiopia. So he went to report this goat and that tree that they're usually eating on it. And then people from the village, the leaders of the village, went to the mountain, went to the tree, and they started harvesting those bright red fruits. And then they started to cook them because it's fruit. They know it's not poison, obviously. It's coming from a tree. It's a fruit. They start boiling it and they drink it as a drink, like a tea. And after that, they have a bit of energy on themselves because that energy is on that fruit that is in there. You understand? So they started using that as their late night prayer drink. Before they do late night prayers, they will make sure that they go and harvest and cook it. And when they're cooking it, they are boiling it with water and then drink it as just a drink. So one day they were sitting on the fire having their drink. So they eat that they have the cherries in themselves. So when they spit out those seeds that are inside the cherries, because inside the cherries there are 2 seeds in it, 2 seeds. So those 2 seeds that are in the cherries, we name them now coffee beans, green coffee beans, right? So he spit those green coffee beans into the fire. So when you spit the coffee beans into the green coffee beans in the fire, so that means now it's going to be roasted. It's going to be cooked. And when you're roasting the coffee beans, there's a certain fragrant smell that comes out. It's unexplainable, the kind of smell. It's amazing smell, right? So there's that certain fragrance that came out from those coffee beans that were spit inside the fire. And then they started realizing, you know what, there is actually something more in this drink that we are having. So let's try to cook more of these seeds and see what can we come up with. You understand? So then now they start harvesting again, and then they're harvesting the cherries. They cook those cherries, and then when you cook the cherries, they become so much soft, right? And then they start removing the skin of the cherries, and they start taking those seeds inside. So they take those seeds and then they cook them. They use a frying pan. They're using a frying pan because at the time there were no roasting machines. There were no machines at all. That's 13th century. So they cook it up until it's darker. So when it's dark, they started to pour it also with water, trying to boil it with water, but nothing came out. Because this was just a coffee bean, the whole coffee bean. So nothing was coming out of that. So they decided to make it finer, to grind it, but there were no grinders. So they were using that kind of a thing. I don't know if you guys know these things. It's like that thing that you do like this, and then to make things finer. They're using that with melies. They're using a melies when you do that thing. So they use that and they make it fine. So the beans. They went finer, and after they take the fine beans, they put it in that small teapot. The teapot name is jabena. They take it inside the teapot. The teapot is a jabena. Inside the jabena, and then they start cooking it, boiling the coffee beans inside the jabena, and then that's when the coffee smell came out, and then the coffee was produced with that thing. Then the coffee started to be produced. They are still using the jabena still in Ethiopia even now. They're still using their tradition things in Ethiopia even today. They're still using that thing even today when they still have grinders, but that just to keep things original in Ethiopia. I really like that. So from there, Yemen people, this whole drink in Ethiopia, it spread it. So as it was spreading, Yemen people heard about it and they traveled to Ethiopia. So when they traveled to Ethiopia, they went there and they wanted to taste this drink. They tasted it and it was amazing on them. So instead of them taking those things to Yemen, they take the seeds to plant these things for themselves back in Yemen. So they took the seeds and they went back to Yemen. They plant them in Yemen, right? After they plant them, they have to look after them. Remember, when they're planting it now, in Ethiopia, it just grows naturally. We won't call it a Robusta, because Robusta just grows natural anywhere around the world without anyone taking care of it. But then, in Yemen, they took the seeds and they go and plant it in Yemen. They plant it and they took care of it because they know that they are going to make business with it. It's not only for them to drink it for themselves, but to sell it to other people. You understand? To make money with it. So that's when Arabica coffee started. Arabica coffee started in Yemen, right? Because they look after it. They planted it. They look after it. They make sure that everything is perfect. They make sure that the bears doesn't come and spoil the cherries and everything. They cover it up until it was grown. When it's so big, they started selling it, spreading it around Europe, around America, around anywhere around the world. And then the people from Europe, other countries, Germany, all these other countries, they started producing the roasting machines, the coffee machines, Italy, coffee machines and all those things. And then that's when this whole coffee thing that you see right now, the cappuccinos and everything, that now are being invented. Because because of Yemen people, they started spreading the coffee bean around the globe. So Yemen is the first country to sell coffee beans, to trade coffee beans. It was Yemen, but Ethiopia is the first country to discover coffee beans around the world. And Mr. Kaldi is the first man to discover coffee beans, to find coffee beans around the world. All right, so it was found in Ethiopia at Kaffa. The village name is Kaffa. This is going to be on your test. So you need to take it seriously. You need to understand. You need to find this thing. You need to study more of these things. It's here on your notes. You can just check your notes. Just keep on reading on your notes, and you'll find everything that I just mentioned here. But it's written in a formal way. All right. So then now we are done. So I hope everyone will know about the background of the coffee, how it was found, how it was discovered, and all this kind of stuff. If you have any question regarding that, you can just shoot, ask me any question. It's okay. Or go and ask in your class, or ask in the class your other colleagues, or ask your teachers that will be there with you. Any question that you have, if the teacher cannot answer your question, you can always ask me direct. All right, ask me direct any question that you want to know. I will explain to you, so up until you understand. Don't just pass without knowing without understanding what we are teaching you. All right, don't be shy. All right, okay, so now we are done with that. So now the next page here, it asks about what is coffee. We're going to, through the notes that I sent it to you guys, we're only going to read four first pages. See the four first pages? We're only going to read those four first pages, guys. All right, for now, for today's session. And then after we're gonna go and do another first 4 pages. So we're not gonna read everything at once. We need to take it slow. Other people, they are still new in this coffee industry, so we cannot feed you guys with so much information. On the first day, you forgot everything. All right. What is coffee? What is coffee? That's a big question to so many people. They will say, I know coffee. And then you ask them, what is coffee? Ndoni coffee. They will start saying, coffee is like something you put water in and like this and like this. What is coffee? You know, it says here, it's a pit of coffee cherry. A coffee cherry is those fruits that Mr. Kaldi's goat were eating. Those bright red fruits, those are coffee cherries. So they say here, it's a pit of coffee cherry. Do you understand? It's a pit of a coffee cherry. That is a coffee. All right, everyone recognize a roasted coffee beans, but unless you have lived or traveled in a coffee growing country, you might not recognize an actual coffee tree. So since I'm teaching you guys right now about coffee, obviously you will see the coffee plants, the coffee trees, how they look like. Obviously I'm going to put them also into this screen so that you understand what is coffee. You understand, so that you understand what is coffee beans. You understand what is coffee tree, what is coffee, and all this kind of stuff. I'll put some things there on your screen so that you understand about it. They say here you will never know the coffee tree if you just pass by anyway, up unless you have lived or traveled into those countries that are growing coffee. All right, then that is true. You will never know you will never know something that you don't know. Someone needs to teach you about something first, up until you guys can say, yes, now I do understand, I do know these things. All right, so let's continue. Coffee trees can take up to 7 to 8 years to come up with flavors. So when they say coffee trees can take up to 7 to 8 years to come up with coffee trees, that means that coffee trees can grow even before 7 to 8 years. But then when they grow before 7 to 8 years, meaning it means that the coffee is not fully matured. Right? It means if it grows, it means the coffee is not fully matured. So according to our notes here, they will say to you, coffee grows in between, like from 3 to 4 years after you planted them to a plantation. There's a planting before plantation. All right, call it that planting, we call it bedding. And then from bedding, there's a plantation. You take the green coffee beans. We take the small trees, we plant them into a plantation. And then from the plantation, it will take 3 years to 4 years. Then the cherries will start coming out, will start popping out. The blooming method will start taking place. Blooming method. Blooming method is that method when before the coffee tree, before the coffee beans, the coffee cherries come out, there's going to be white blooming into the tree, right? To the coffee tree. After that white blooming, then the coffees will start. The coffee cherries, the green cherries, small coffee cherries will start popping out. All right. So when those small cherries start popping out, when those small cherries start popping out, they will keep on growing and the white flowers will start falling down. Right? So they start falling down, all those white flowers you find in those places is going to be dirty at that time. Everything started to be like the air pollution all over the place because you find those dirty, those things that are just falling down there. And then the beans starting growing, those cherries started growing up until they become red. So when they become red, bright red, that means they are ready to be harvested. Right? They need to harvest them when they're turning red before they get spoiled, because when they are sweet, that means now they are the targets to the birds, to all the worms, to everything, to the bugs, everything. So now they are a threat. They will be eaten by those things. And once those things eat them, that means those coffee cherries will be rotten. They will be spoiled. Then you sell a low quality coffees. So it's very important you guys to know these kind of things. All right. So which is in 3 to 4 years, coffee cherries start growing. But then they are not fully matured because the roots are just moving around here. Right? And then in 7 to 8 years, that means the roots now are connecting with the trees that is surrounding that coffee tree. Maybe there's an apple tree, there's a banana tree, there's mango tree, there's all these trees that are around. Also, you have potatoes, you have all the other things that are surrounding your coffee tree, right? So that means that tree will connect through the roots with all these trees surrounding it, and then it will give your coffee a different taste. You understand? It will give your coffee beans a different taste, a unique flavors in it, because it's connected with all of these. So it will actually mix all of these flavors that are surrounding it and come up with something unique. Do you understand? That's how the varieties are being created, by mixing the surrounding of a coffee tree. That happens around 7 to 8 years. On the 4 years, on 3 to 4 years, the coffee is still blank. It is growing. You can still make business with it, but it's not fully matured. It's only fully matured in that 7 to 8 years. Remember, guys. And the coffee, after 7 to 8 years, it can grow longer, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It can continuously growing and growing every year. If you are harvesting on September, that means next year on September again, you're harvesting another beans. You're not adding anything. You just look after your tree. Another year, again, you're harvesting. If you are making 1 million on your coffee plantation a year, next year again, you're going to make 1 million. Or if you added your trees, you increase your money that you're getting, you get 2 million. Remember, coffee beans are in demand anywhere around the world. People who are selling coffee beans, I'm talking about people who have the whole city for coffee trees, they run out of their coffee beans because people in America, they buying. People in China, they buying. People from Dubai, they buying. People from UK, they buying those beans. And they run out. Can you imagine how many people drinking coffee around the world? There's so many people. How many coffee shops around the world? How many restaurants around the world? How many hotels around the world? All of these places, they're using coffee. All of these businesses, they're using coffee. So you need to plant the coffee trees. You know that it's a very good business. Once you have that kind of business, you will never suffer for the rest of your life. Your children, everyone will keep on harvesting and getting more money, getting money from those coffee trees. And the good thing is, here in South Africa, we don't have those coffee trees in South Africa. So it's an advantage for you guys here in South Africa. You can start planting. You can start thinking, planning, planting your own coffee trees. Through this course, it will show you guys, it will teach you guys about planting your coffee trees also, so that you'll be able to say, I can plant my own tree, I can make my own money, I can make my own business. This course helps people make sure that you are making the money for yourself. You understand? All right. Where was pro-shot cultivation, but capable of growing more than 10 meter high. So coffee trees can grow up to 10 meter high. Coffee trees is covered with dark waxy leaves. So those waxy leaves that are covering these are dark waxy leaves. Those leaves are helping also to shade the sunlight from spoiling the coffee cherries. So they are big waxy leaves on coffee trees. I'll show you to them on your screen. Those waxy leaves, they are covering your coffee cherries, so they don't get there's too much sunlight, they don't get too much rainy, they don't get any of those things, so they will be covered automatically. Growing opposite each other in pairs. Coffee cherries grows along, so the coffee cherries will grow along. You will see all of these things in your screen. All coffee trees needs to be taken care of to avoid bad changing weather, climates and bugs around the farm. So as I said to you guys before, if you want your coffee tree to continuously growing every year, you need to look after your tree. It's very important for you to look after your coffee tree, because that coffee tree will make you money forever. You can live 20 years, 30 years, that coffee tree is still making money for you. You don't have work, you stay in villages, you stay in Emaxhoseni, or you stay in a rural area, you don't have a way to make money. Plant coffee tree. You will see people, they will come to you. You don't have to go to them. That's a good thing about coffee. Once they know that you do have coffee tree, people will come to you. We as coffee roasting companies, we will come to you. We will buy your coffee beans. We will make sure that we are selling your coffee beans. We will make sure that we are advertising your coffee beans. Do you understand? It's very important you have this kind of knowledge with you guys. All right. It takes nearly a year for coffee cherries to mature after the white flowering of the fragrant white blossom. It says here, when those flowers, you see the blooming method, when it starts, those flowers start coming out, right? So it takes nearly a year for the coffee cherries to start popping out from those cherries. So it takes a couple of months, it takes long, right? Compared to peach. I think peach, it takes 1 month or 2 months or something like that. But with the coffee, it takes nearly a year for the coffee cherries to start popping out. So it starts popping out in a small cherry. It grows, it grows again to red, it grows to bright red, and it's ready to be harvested. All right. Because it developed to a cherry that ripped from green color, after few weeks changed to bright red, growing in a continuously cycle. All right, I've said this before. It grows to green, red, dark red, and harvested, and then again next year again, flower, green, red and dark red, and harvested. So it keeps on continuously doing the same thing every year. If it's October, it's October. If it's November, it's November. If it's December, it's December. So the harvesting period will always be the same. All right, it will always be the same. If not the same, it will be similar. But it won't be that much. There won't be that much difference in it. According to climates, sometimes climate change, it changes sometimes. But if it was supposed to be on October, you don't be shocked when it's on November. You understand? All right. Bright red. There was. It is not usual to see flowers, green fruit, and ripe fruit situated unusually similar tree can grow. Okay. The trees can live as long as 20 to 30 years and capable of growing in a wide range of climates. As long as there is no harsh fluctuation in temperature, optimally, so your tree can continuously growing 20 to 30 years, even 40 years. As long as you look after your tree, you make sure that it doesn't get this too much sun in it. It doesn't get affected with too much sun or any of these other things. You make sure you're looking after your tree. It can continue feeding you and your family that coffee tree. Do you understand? It's very important for you to understand this, especially if you're planning to do a farming for these coffee trees. It's very important for you to understand that that tree can feed you, can feed your family, can feed your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren also. As long as you know how to look after it, it can keep on continually growing. And we, as a coffee roasting companies, we will keep on buying the beans from you. It's a new way of making money. It's an old way of making money, but we don't know these things. You understand? We're just being colonized. We're just being free from colonization. So we don't know. We're just coming from apartheid. So we don't know other things. But these things, other African countries, they know about it. They've been planting coffee beans for years. Kenya, for example. Kenya, their money is also coming from coffee. Brazil, their money, their country money is coming from that. Their diamond and their golds, it's coming from coffee. Colombia, Tanzania, they're making huge amount of money with coffee. That's the country. The government is involved. You understand? You start these things also. The government, when they see that you are making money out of coffee trees, they will start being involved as well. Do you understand? So you guys need to take this thing seriously also. If you are planning to plant your own trees, call us, Pan Coffee Roastery. We will assist you. We will assist you on everything, and we will partner up with you. All right. Okay, I think we are done with this one now. So obviously the others you will learn on other days. Now we're going to go to difference between Robusta and Arabica. We're going to the difference between Robusta and Arabica coffee beans. What is Robusta coffee beans? I've talked about it before. If you guys remember, I've talked about Robusta beans and Arabica beans when I was talking about Yemen and I was talking about the growth of coffee. All right, let me read it here first. Species of coffee origin in the central western sub-Sahara Africa. Grown mostly in Africa and Brazil, Conilon. Has become the world's single largest exporter. Has become the world's single largest exporter. 30% of the world's coffee production. 30% of the world coffee production. That is Robusta we're talking about. 30% of the world. Can you imagine how big is the world? 30% of the world coffee production. And then you know where does 70% is? 70% is with Arabica. So that means a lot of people, they are using Arabica coffee beans. Why people are using Arabica coffee beans? Why people are not using Robusta coffee beans? Because, okay, let me just read here first before I go to that. Maintenance is easier for Brazil. For Robusta, maintenance is easier and it's cheaper. It's cheap to produce. So the Robusta beans are very cheap beans. You understand? Used in low-grade coffee blends, instant coffee, and all this kind of stuff. So Robusta beans is cheap, so that's why it sells less, because it is cheap. People out there, they don't want something that is cheap. I've had so many people asking me why your courses are cheap. You know, for this course that I'm giving to you guys, it's above 10,000, 15,000. If someone you have to learn 3 months and learning all these and also get international certificate to assist you with. People, they'll be asking me, why is it cheap? There is something wrong with your course. Why is it cheap? So it goes with these things. They say here it's 30% world world coffee production is 30%. So people, they don't buy it that much because it's cheap. You understand? Same applies with my course. If another person out there is charging 10,000, you find numbers of people going there because they are charging the normal price. But for me, I'm charging less price for you guys, 1.5, because I want everyone to afford. And people that ask, why is it cheap? You understand? So that's our mindset. That's humans' mindset. Guys, I'm doing this for you guys. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm not doing this to do this or do this. I was worried when I go outside and I find we don't have our people back that side. There's so little South Africans in Dubai, in Bahrain, in Qatar. There's so little Zimbabwean people also. There's so little Changane guys also there. You don't find them. You find them here in South Africa. You understand? But you find so many Kenyans, you find so many Malawians, you find so many Nigerians, you find so many Ugandians, you find all these other countries in Africa, all these other places in Africa, you find them there. Like you find thousands of them. I'm not talking about 10. You find thousands of them. And in the group, in our group, that side, you find, let's say you find 6,000 South Africans. So South Africans are mixed with Zimbabwean people there. That side, because they're calling us as South Africans, all of us. They don't say South Africa is a country. They say South Africa as every African country that is in South. It's under South Africa. So you only find, out of 6,000 South Africans, you find 10 black South Africa. Probably maybe 6 colors in the group. I was asking myself, well, how is this possible? The rest of South Africans are white South Africans. The rest of South Africans are white South Africans. I was shocked. I was asking myself, how is this possible? Why this is a South African group? And when I'm looking at Kenyan group, it's like 8,000 Kenyans and they're all black. You understand? You're looking at Uganda, you have 8,000 Ugandans and they're all black. You understand? So now that thing, it goes to that thing that maybe we are not getting this much education about traveling outside. They have education. There are people who are educating them about traveling outside, but we don't have that kind of organization. So Pan Coffee Roast, this kind of organization of ours, is that platform to teach you guys about going abroad. So everything has a start. So this is going to be a start. I don't want to keep things inside me and say, I need everyone in South Africa to look at me as a big boy, I'm a big dude. When I come back overseas, I'm buying alcohol for them, I'm doing everything for them. I want everyone here to be able to do that. I want everyone here to be able to travel outside and make a living for other people who are less fortunate and educate them to be fortunate as much as they are. You understand? That's why this course is cheap, so that everyone can afford, everyone can be able to change their lives. You understand? Travel outside, get a different mindset. The minute you go outside, you're going to have a different mindset. Have a different mindset, have a different way of thinking, have a different way of looking at things. You understand? Look at South Africa from a distance. Look at Zimbabwe from a distance. Look at Mozambique from the distance. See your country from a distance. You will see your brain, your mindset will change completely. When you come back from that side, you'll be saving money to come and to change lives of your family, of your friends, of people around you. Instead of you going to work in South Africa, you will create your own company. You will start your own company. Because people from that side, they say they will never come and work in South Africa. Instead, they will come in South Africa and create jobs. Because there's no money in our country. There's no money in South Africa, guys. There is no money. If there is no money in your country, go outside and find money. That's what other people do. If they can't find money in their country, they go outside. Do you understand? There's like 70% unemployment rate in South Africa. 70 unemployment rate in South Africa. That means there's no work. The poverty is going deeper and deeper and deeper. So you guys, you use this opportunity, you go and find work outside. You understand? Go find work outside. Bring work yourself. Employ people. Give them hope. You understand? Make this your responsibility also to increase like the opportunities for jobs around here in South Africa. All right. Okay, so okay, we just finished about Robusta. Robusta, the example of Robusta is instant coffee. You see, instant coffee, you cannot use expensive coffee to make these coffee instant coffees. You need to use Robusta, the cheapest coffee beans, to make these instant coffees, this coffee and whatever thing that other people normally drink. All right. And then we have Arabica. We have Arabica coffee beans. Okay, let's go through Arabica. A species of coffee origin in Yemen, in the Arabian Peninsula. You understand? Arabian Peninsula. Right? Species of coffee origin in Yemen. Species of coffee in Yemen. Why it says Yemen? Other people, they'll be asking why it says Yemen. Remember when I was explaining to you guys, in Yemen is the first country to plant it. Do you understand? In Yemen, they planted it. The coffee cherries. They plant the coffee beans, the coffee trees. But then in Ethiopia, it just grow and they just discover it. But in Yemen, they planted it. When they plant it, they have to look after it. So then now, when they're looking after it, so that makes it an Arabica beans because they control how it's supposed to be, how it should be. They control the whole thing themselves in Yemen. Do you understand? So Arabica is the coffee that is being taken care of. And Arabica has less caffeine than a Robusta coffee beans. Robusta has twice caffeine more than Arabica coffee. It has so much coffee more than Arabica coffee. Because Robusta, it just grows anywhere, anytime. And when it grows there, it gets all the sunlight, it gets the rainy weather, it gets everything in it. So which is that coffee that will grow in there, it's unbalanced. You understand? It's not concentrated coffee, it's unbalanced. So this one, the Arabica, it is concentrated because it is balanced. When it was growing in there, they look after it. They make sure it doesn't get too much sunny. They were shielding it. They were looking. They were taking care of it. Like they make sure that they are controlling how it grows. So it's going to be expensive because they took time to look after it. Do you understand? Robusta is cheap because no one. They just went and harvest. That's it. The only thing they did is to harvest. So you pay money. You only paying them money for harvesting those beans. Do you understand? So that's why Arabica, every coffee shops that you find in there, they are using Arabican coffee beans because they don't want to give people a coffee that is unbalanced. Robusta, people, they can still use it, but they're using it for blending. When I say blending, I mean mixing different flavors. Remember, remember, Robusta, it has twice caffeine, which is it has so much caffeine in it. It's very strong. It has a strong caffeine. It has a bitter taste, sour taste, strong taste in it. It has so much crema when you're doing espresso. Do you understand? That is Robusta. But then Arabica, because it was being taken care of, their taste level are just mellowed. Everything is smooth. They give you a concentrated taste. If the variety of a certain place, it gives sweetness and fruity, then you will get that sweetness and fruity in it, and less caffeine than Robusta coffee. Do you understand? Do you understand? Which is Robusta beans. Robusta beans, people are using it for blending Arabica beans, because some other Arabican beans, they have only the sweetness. They have no bitter taste. So to make it balance, because other people, they like to have a kick-ass coffee. Kick-ass coffee is that coffee that it is smooth and nice. At the same time, it has that punch in it of bitterness, of bitter taste. You understand? So other people, they're looking for that bitter taste. So in order for you to get that bitter taste, you need to take 20% or 10% or 30% of Robusta and add it to your Arabican coffee beans, and then your coffee will start being balanced now. All right. So Robusta is not just a bad coffee. It's not a bad coffee at all. But then it's good for you to blend your good coffee to make it balanced. Do you understand? Because you need to sell to your customers something that they will enjoy. You understand? So it is very important. It is very important for you guys to understand all of those kind of stuff. All right. I believe to be the first species of coffee cultivated, make up to approximately 70% of the world's coffee production. 70% of the world coffee production, we already mentioned that, right? Robusta is 30%, Arabica is 70%. Smaller harvest, production cost higher. Okay. Smaller harvest, production cost higher. Production cost higher. It says it has a smaller harvest, so people, they are harvesting it smaller, but then the coffee itself is quite expensive because it has been taken care of, and people are buying it. 70% of people around the world, they are buying Arabican coffee beans instead of Robusta. Robusta is cheap, people are buying it less, but this one is expensive and people are buying it more. I made an example before with my coffee course, with this course. My course is 1.5 for the whole course, and another person's course is 10,000. People, they will take that one for 10,000 and they will leave this one because this one, it has problems. You understand? Because it's cheaper, but it's not. It doesn't have problems. My coffee business doesn't have problems at all. I just want to see so many people from Africa believing about coffee, like same as UK, same as America, same as any of other other countries outside in Europe. I want us also to look at coffee industry as something that we can benefit from. You understand? Contains 60% more fats and twice the content of sugar. Contains 60% more fats and twice. Remember, in coffee beans have natural oils in them. they have oils in them, the coffee beans. So you only find those coffee oils when you are roasting your coffee beans. The more you keep your roasting your beans into the roasting machine, longer the oils start popping out of your coffee beans. You see your beans will start being shiny when they become medium to dark, or they become darker. They'll shine. When they shine, those are natural coffee oils that are popping out of it. So coffee have oils, natural oils in them. But it's up to you as a roaster to control if you want them to pop out or you want to keep them inside for people to drink the coffee with them in it. All right. It's not a bad oil. So plant growth and development. Plant growth and development. Self-pollination. Flowers appears 6 to 8 weeks after fertilization. All right, do you understand? Self-pollination. Flowers appear 6 to 8 weeks after fertilization. Grow into a freshly fruit containing the coffee beans harvest. Is around about 35 weeks after flowers appear, with the fruit having turned green or red. Coffee leaves oval shape with waxy dark green look. Bean shape larger and more oval. So in here, when you are growing your coffee trees, right? And then you have those white blooming methods, right? You have the white blooming methods, and then on that white blooming method, you find when the beans are starting coming out, right? Then those white blooming flowers, they start falling down, right? So when they're falling down, that means that people have to start cleaning. Now that thing is giving the farmers a job, because they have to clean there, because the whole place will be white from the ground, because now they are falling down all those things. So they have to clean, make sure that they are cleaning everything that is in there. And then fruit turns to red. And the other thing that I think maybe you might need to know, the coffee beans, when the coffee beans shape, there is a difference between the two. Remember, we are running a business. So if we are running a business, that means that we business people, they are lying a lot to make profit, to make money. We can deceive people to make money. Do you understand? Hence the fact that there are people who are creating their own Coca-Colas now. They are creating their own soda drinks because they want to make the full profit for themselves. Do you understand? And they will lie and say, this is the original Coca-Cola. All right. So business people also does the same thing. We know that Robusta is the cheapest coffee beans because it produces twice caffeine than Arabica. It also, it's unstable coffee, it's unbalanced coffee, right? And then a lot of people, they might roast the coffee, buy these Robusta beans and sell the Robusta beans too, and label it as Arabica coffee. And people, they'll buy it because they don't know the difference. Do you understand? So the difference in the coffee beans, you can see, look at the shape of the Robusta beans. The shape of the Robusta beans is like almost round, like it's like round, like. And the thistles is the line that is in between the beans. That is the thistle. That thistle line is like going straight. That is a Robusta. If you find something that is more like that, you should know that this coffee is a Robusta beans. And then for Arabica beans, the shape is like a little bit more like shapy beans, like shapy beans, not straight, it's not like round, like it's like shapy, And then you can see also the thistles in it is like zigzag. They go like zigzag like that. The thistles in the Arabica. So you should understand those things. It's very important that you know. And you should also know this. It's still this thing. You're going to learn about it later, not now. There are coffee beans that are called strictly hard beans, or strictly high-grown coffee beans. You understand? Those when they say strictly hard beans or strictly high-grown coffee beans, you should know that those coffee beans have a great quality. You understand? They have a great quality. Strictly high-grown beans, that means that the more they are growing, The coffee cherries are sucking more of the varieties, sucking more flavor, sucking more taste, sucking more quality in it. You understand? And then when they grow up until they get to where they're supposed to get, when they are ready to be harvested, then the beans will be smaller in shape, in size, and then the thistles, those lines, they'll be closed, which is the reason why those thistles are closed. They are locking the flavors of the coffee beans inside the bean. They are locking those flavors of the coffee beans inside. Do you understand? Strictly high-grown coffee beans and strictly hard coffee beans. You should be aware of those things. You should listen to those things. When they talk about those things, they are talking about the altitude. They are talking about the altitude. Do you understand? That's the main reason why the roaster guys, before they roast their coffee beans, they'll ask what is the altitude of this coffee, so that they will know how they should roast that coffee beans. If the thistles are closed, that means the quality of that coffee is high. Obviously, because it's Arabica, they'll have to be zigzag. If the thistles are opened, you should know the quality of that coffee is not as great, but it doesn't mean that the coffee is bad. Do you understand? The quality is high, but it doesn't mean it's the great coffee for you. Remember, everyone have a different palates. We all have a different palates. We all have different taste expectations. The coffee might be high quality, but I might not like it. Do you understand? I might not like it. I might like the coffee that has low quality because of my taste buds. You understand? My satisfaction is on that low quality coffee. It's not on the high quality coffee. Do you understand? So everyone have a different palate. I've noticed that since I was traveling around the world. You go to Dubai, you find people, they taste coffee differently. You go to Kuwait, you find people, they drink coffee differently. You go to Qatar, like in Qatar, for example, they usually like something that is more like Brazil. They don't like acidic at all. They don't like at all the acidic coffee. They say it's sour. They don't like it. And you go to Dubai, they like acidic and all this kind of other flavors in their coffee. They like to find all the flavors in the coffee. And you go to Bahrain, they like bitter coffee, they like bitterness. Their coffee, it's supposed to be bitter so that it shows that this is a coffee, it's very strong coffee. You understand? So every country, every place, people, they are used to their foods. So if they are used to their food, they will look for something that is going to satisfy their palates. You understand? So the coffee beans might be high quality, but they might not like it. They might like the low quality because it satisfies their needs. It satisfies their taste buds. Do you understand? All right, so now we're going to go to decaffeinated coffee beans. Decaffeinated coffee beans. A lot of people, they don't even know what is decaffeinated, or they don't know why people are drinking decaffeinated coffee. Why people are drinking decaf. Decaffeinated is decaf. We call it decaf in the coffee shops. So people, they don't know why we drink decaf. Firstly, let me just read this, and then after I will explain to you guys about the decaf. All right. Arabica beans have less natural caffeine than Robusta, which is, it's quite obvious. I've already told you guys about that. Arabica has less caffeine than Robusta. Robusta has twice caffeine as Arabica, so which is, you can never use Robusta to make a decaf. You should use Arabica coffee. That's why decaf is expensive. Methods of used to decaffeinate coffee use two natural elements: pure water, washing method, or sparkling water method. Do you understand? Method used to decaffeinate coffee. Use two natural elements. Pure water, amanzi. Washing methods or sparkling water method. Sparkling water was firstly made by Germany. So there are methods. It's not only those two methods. There are more and more and more and more. As the years goes, people, they start finding new things every day, every year. So there are also chemical methods that people are using to the Swiss water method also. These chemicals people are using to remove the caffeine out of the Arabican coffee beans. Remember, decaf. What is decaf? Decaf is like It's like alcohol without alcohol. It's a beer with 0% alcohol. It's a Savannah with 0% alcohol. It's a whiskey with 0%. Instead of 43%, it's a whiskey with 0% alcohol. You understand? That is a coffee. That is a decaf coffee. It's a coffee without a caffeine. Do you understand? It gives you the taste of coffee, but it doesn't give you the satisfaction of that caffeine. Same like alcohol. Alcohol will give you the taste of that beer, but will never get you drunk. You'll just drink, but you'll never be drunk. Same with decaf coffee. You drink that coffee, it tastes like coffee, it smells like coffee, but then it doesn't give you the energy. It doesn't give you that caffeine energy in it. Right? So that is a decaf coffee. So there are methods of removing that caffeine from a normal coffee beans. There is a method of removing that caffeine. All right. The method to remove that caffeine, I'm only going to explain to you guys with the sparkling water method. A sparkling water method. People, when the farmers are harvesting the coffee beans from the trees, right? They are harvesting the coffee beans from the trees. And then as they are harvesting those coffee beans from the trees as green coffee beans, right? They go through the methods, right? We still gotta go through the methods of the harvesting methods and all this kind of stuff. We still have to go through because we still have a lot of things to learn. But at the moment, right now, I'm just talking about decaf. So that method, there's a sparkling water method. So on that sparkling water method, they take those green unroasted coffee beans, they put them into a drum to do a fermentation with it. They have to do a fermentation with it. So that drum has to be airtight container drum. They will put all those coffee beans inside that airtight container drum, right? And they'll put a sparkling water. Sparkling water, there's that chemical with that sparkling water. That chemical of that sparkling water have to go inside the thistles of the coffee beans because you close that airtight container, so which is everything is inside there. Right, everything is inside there. You close that airtight container, and then that sparkling start expanding, making that thing has to have like so much gas. You see the airtight container, it blasted. You understand? And then it goes inside the thistles. When it goes inside the thistles, it kills the caffeine. It kills the caffeine inside the bean itself. All right. It burns the caffeine inside the bean. So when it burns that caffeine inside, so you keep the thing probably for 24 hours. Other people, they do it for 48 hours. But when you're removing that, it depends how much you want to kill your caffeine. Because remember, you don't kill your caffeine like to be completely dead. But maybe let's say you kill up until 80% of the caffeine is out, or 80-something% of the caffeine is out. All right. So that when that caffeine is killed, when that caffeine after the 24 hours, you remove that drum, you take off all that sparkling water, you throw it out. And then as you are opening it, because of that fermentation, the smell that you're going to get from there, the fragrance that you're going to get, the smell, is an alcoholic smell that you're going to get in there because we're doing a fermentation on the fruit. If you are putting an apple or a banana, not a banana, if you're putting an apple or a peach and you ferment it for 24 hours, the following day, when you're opening that thing, you'll smell like alcohol because of the fermentation. It changes, that fruit changes to be alcohol. It has gases for alcohol. So it's the same thing with coffee beans also. So, and then after that, when it has that alcohol smell, they rinse it with clean water. They rinse the beans about 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. It depends. They rinse and throw the water, rinse, throw the water, rinse and throw the water. And then after that, they throw in boiling water. They throw in boiling water in those coffee beans still. Other people, they put also the salt. They're adding the salt in that boiling water. The salt will kill the bacteria in your beans because there are bacteria in it after you did the fermentation. They're killing the bacteria in your beans, so that's salt. All right, and then you put that boiling water in that, and then you close it again. You do another fermentation, but now with only clean boiling water with the natural salt in it, like with just salt in it. All right, you put it in there for 7 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. When that water is too completely cold, you remove that water, you rinse it again with clean water. You rinse that salt out with clean water, and then you take it to a place where it's going to get sunlight in it so it can dry. All right, and then it dries from that sunlight. So when it dries after that sunlight, you will see the beans from before it was green unroasted coffee beans, but then now it's dark. It's dark unroasted coffee beans because you can tell, and also the shape. If the shape was 18 screen size, you will see now it's going to be very, very small screen size of the shape of that beans because it's shrinked through the process. It's shrinked. It gets smaller, and at the same time, it gets more darker in color. It's like it's roasted, but it's not roasted because of that chemical of that sparkling water that were taking place in it. And that salt, that boiling water and the salt that was getting inside it, it also affected that whole thing. All right. And then after that, you dry it, and then they can roast it after. Then when they're roasting it, they will roast normal, the same way as they normally roast other coffee beans. But then they might have a different roasting profile for it. You can turn Ethiopian coffee beans to be a decaf Ethiopian coffee beans. You can turn a Brazilian coffee beans to be a Brazilian decaf coffee. Do you understand? But I always don't recommend people to take a strictly high-grown coffee, a very strong quality coffee to be a decaf. That coffee might also struggle to open up the fizzles. Remember, you need to take coffee that has low quality so that the fizzles are already open, so that the sparkling water can get inside the beans without struggling. All right. So, okay, we go back here now. The longer coffee is exposed to water, the more caffeine is extracted. The longer coffee is exposed to water, the more caffeine is extracted. You understand? E.g., espresso coffee has lowest caffeine content as it is extracted for only short time in water, whereas filter coffee drip through water for much longer. So espresso, it has less caffeine. That's what they say. It has less caffeine, right? So the espresso has less caffeine because it only extracts in seconds, 20 to 25 seconds. Other people they say 30 seconds, 25 to 30 seconds. That is extracting time for it. Only a couple of seconds. So it contains less caffeine than a filter coffee, because the filter coffee it stays in that water with that caffeine for longer, so which is it keep on extracting more caffeine in it, and it extracts slowly dripping for maybe 3 minutes. You understand? You extract it for 3 minutes, that means the caffeine will be higher. The longer it stays, the water stays with that caffeine, the higher the caffeine. Do you understand? It extracts longer, 3 minutes, the caffeine will be more. Espresso extract 20-25 seconds, the caffeine will be less. Do you understand? Espresso has less caffeine than a filter coffee. All right. Coffee tasting term. It's important for barista to know how to separate the flavors of all coffee beans. It's their job to taste every first shot of espresso before served to customers. That is very important, guys. I don't know how other baristas does this thing. To be honest with you, I don't know. Like seriously, baristas, they'll be drinking coffee with sugar. It doesn't make any sense. You know, baristas, you should be able to taste your first coffee every time before you serve to your customers. Remember, we have the machines, we have the grinder. The grinder have blades, right? And because the coffee itself, coffee has the oils. So if the grinder is grinding the oils of that coffee, if the grinder is grinding the oils of that coffee, the first ones, right? And then when it grinds another ones, that means there's old oils that are stuck in it. And if something is oily stuck into and like a metal thing for longer, that means it will give the taste of that metal and the taste of that old oils that are there, right? So which is now you are grinding new coffee beans, you are putting in, you are dosing new coffee beans, you are grinding on top of that grinder that has the old oils in it. So what's going to happen? You will taste the coffee with the old oils and you will taste the coffee with that metal taste instead of tasting the coffee, the new coffee that you just received. Do you understand? So it's very important for a barista to understand those tastes before they're serving to a customer so that they will know that, okay, you know what? Because I'm tasting this, I should clean my grinder. Then I'll serve the proper taste to my customers. It's very important, guys. You understand? Or let's say your machine, your coffee machine is not clean inside. The shower screens inside it, they still have stuck up oils and coffee in it. So they are struggling even to extract espresso because of those holes are closed with the oils and the old coffees in it. So which is you have to know that you have to taste your coffee in order for you to understand those things. You will not understand those things by just looking at the coffee, but then you need to taste it. When you find the bitter taste, you need to try to see where does this bitterness comes from cleaning the grinder or from cleaning the shower screens or cleaning the baskets. You understand? So it's very important, and you can never do those tasting. You can never taste your coffee when you're using sugar in them. You can never. You understand? You can never find those flavors if you are using sugar. You have to make sure that you're not using sugar. You are drinking them straightforward so that at least you know there's the front tongue here. You find here the sweetness, and on the side of the tongue you find sourness, and at the back you find the bitterness. So your coffee is supposed to go around, click all these spots. Click the front, click the sides, click the back. So that means your coffee is balanced. But then now you are putting sugar in your coffee. When you're putting sugar, you only find the sweetness. You will never be able to explain anything to your customers. If your customer is asking how does this coffee taste like, you will never know. You say your coffee tastes sweet because you're putting sugar in it. All right. So I think baristas should learn how to not use sugar in their coffee. They should learn. It's nice. It's actually, for me, it's the coffee tastes sweet. It tastes amazing, sweet. Even though without sugar, I don't use sugar in my coffee, but it tastes amazing. It tastes sweet. All right. So I think baristas, they should be able to taste with sugar, and they should be able also to taste it without sugar. You understand? It's very important. We have cupping sessions in Dubai, in Bahrain. It's very important. A lot of people, they come from different countries to go into the cupping sessions for coffee, international coffee cupping sessions and coffee tastings and all those things. Bitterness, back of your tongue. That is where you find your bitterness. All right, so we're done there. Acidity, it's like sweet in taste at the tip of the tongue. It is lively palate, cleaning property found in all high-grown coffee and can be compared with characteristics found in a good Sauvignon black wine. So in acidic coffee, how I usually explain to people, acidic coffee is like drinking a vinegar. You see a vinegar. If you tasting something like an acidic, I always have that thing in my mind, a vinegar. That sourness of the vinegar, it has that thing. So that is an acidic coffee. You'll find something also, it's called citrusy. It's quite similar to acidic, citrusy coffee. Citrusy coffee, the only thing that is different for it, the citrusy with acidic, because citrusy, it has that vinegar but also have the lemon-like taste or orange taste. You understand? So it has that lemon-like taste or orange taste. Do you understand? So that is citrusy because it has the fruit in it. But then acidic, it has no fruit in it. It is that acidic taste and then fruit separate taste. Do you understand? I hope you do understand that. But if you don't understand now, you understand it later. All right, as you are in a coffee industry, but as long as you do have a closure of what I'm telling you now, what I'm teaching you. Body, talk about body now. Body is a physical impression coffee has in the mouth. So body, body. When you talk about body of the coffee, you talk about it's more like low fat milk, full cream milk, and fat free milk. Full body is like full cream milk. Because full cream milk will give you the proper taste, right? And then you have low fat milk. Low fat milk is low bodied. We say it in coffee, low bodied. No. We don't say low bodied. We say low fat milk is medium bodied. We say it's medium bodied, that is low fat milk. Fat free milk, we say that is low body because it's fat free milk. You understand? It's low body. So that's how you can have, when you talk about, when someone is when you're reading your coffee profile, when they talk about body, low body, you should taste, you should just know about those things here. This is what they mean when they say full body. So I should taste the full flavors of this coffee because it's full bodied. It's light bodied, I should just taste a little bit not there, but at least there is still a body. Low body, you should taste like, this is like going to be smooth, mellowed, because you cannot find those kind of body flavors in it. Alright. It goes around your mouth. Think of it as fat-free milk and full cream milk being full-bodied. Okay. Freshness. Good coffee start with fresh cold water. That is freshness. Good coffee start with fresh cold water. You make sure that when your water, you don't just use, some people, like a lot of players, they're using coffee filtered water. Right, they're using filtered water because if your water tastes different, your water tastes like a vinegar, your coffee will taste like a vinegar. If your water tastes like cinnamon, your whole coffee will taste like cinnamon because it has cinnamon water in it. Alright, so you need to use a fresh cold water. You must always use fresh coffee beans. Fresh coffee beans have 4 enemies. Always you are using fresh coffee beans. You don't use old coffee beans. Fresh coffee beans start from the farms. After they harvested those coffee beans, after they did harvesting of those coffee beans, they need to take those green coffee beans to a room temperature place so that the moisture of those coffee beans doesn't affect the beans. The moisture doesn't affect the beans. Remember, the moisture needs to stick around about 12%. Need to stick around about 12%. 11%, 12%, So the moisture, if it goes more, that means your coffee beans will be affected. The taste of your beans will be affected. The variety of your area will be affected. So the freshness starts from that side. And then when they giving us those, when we are buying those beans, we still need to get them like in a very good we need to still get them in a very good quality forms. You understand? It's still fresh. Doesn't have moisture problems in them. You understand? Before we start roasting them. Alright, so it's very important, guys. And after you roast your coffee beans, you roast your beans and then you keep them into those coffee beans packaging. Right? When you keep them in those coffee beans packaging, you keep them in those coffee bean packaging, right? And then when you keep them in those coffee bean packaging, you make sure that you don't open them if you're not going to use them now. If you don't open them, you can use them. They're still fresh. Even after 1 year, after 12 months, you can still use them. They're still not fired. They're still not expired. But the minute you open them, the gases start coming outside. You need to use that coffee in 7 days. In 7 days, in the period of 7 days, you need to use that coffee beans. If you keep it longer, your beans will be expired. You can still use it though for yourself, but you cannot use it for your customers. You cannot say you're selling your coffee beans to your customers. But for you, if you don't mind drinking expired coffee bean, it's fine. You can drink it. You understand? And then again, when you grind your beans, you need to use them in seconds. Because the minute you start grinding your beans, that's the minute you can smell from a distance. It smells like coffee. That means those are the gases expanding. It's like opening a gas stove and you're not turning on the light. You don't put on the light. The gas start expanding the whole house and smell the whole house. So the same thing with coffee. When you start grinding, that means now you are releasing the gases. So those gases of the coffee spread the whole house or spread the whole shopping mall. And everyone will smell coffee from far away because of the gases. That means you need to use it immediately. You understand? Before the coffee gets spoiled. It gets spoiled in seconds. So when you grind your coffee beans, you grind, you use it, you temp it, you put it in. When you grind your beans, you pour them in a pour over machine. You start pouring your milk, your water immediately. You don't keep it there longer. I've seen some other baristas though. They will grind the coffee beans in the grinder, keep them in that hopper of the grinder for longer period. They say, I'm asking them, why are you keeping this here? Because other customers, they will come, I don't want to keep on grinding there. I just want to dish out and temp it and give it to them. It's a wrong way. That customer pays money. And coffee is quite expensive. Right? Arabica coffee is quite expensive. So if your coffee is expensive, and then again, you are just grinding and giving, you are grinding coffee and keep it there to be expired. Even extraction is not the same as the freshly grounded coffee. The extraction of it is not the same. So you need to make sure what you are selling something that you are also happy with. You don't just sell something that just for customers. I'm just giving customers. They don't know. It's fine even if they don't know. Teach them, educate them. They will know. If you educate them, they will know. I promise you. So don't do that thing. Don't grind your coffee beans and keep them in a hopper for longer. They get expired. Coffee has the enemies. The minute you are grinding that coffee is exposed to its enemies, which is the enemies is air, is heat, is light, and it's moisture. You make sure that you are protecting that coffee beans from getting those enemies. Do you understand? Air is always there. You understand? Heat is always here. Right? Light, it's light. Light is everywhere. Moisture is everywhere. So immediately after you grind it, temp it and use it. Or immediately you grind it, pour it over the pour over machine, use it immediately. So you can serve the freshly grounded coffee. Alright? So don't ever do that thing ever again. Don't grind your coffee beans and keep them there for longer. Or don't grind the coffee beans today and say you're going to start serving them tomorrow. No, don't do that. Use the freshly grounded coffee every time. Remember, the minute you grind the coffee, the enemies are starting attacking immediately. The gases, the minute that smells start exposing, starting coming out, that means the gases are starting spreading. Do you understand? All right. Grind only coffee you're going to use at the time. Don't grind extra to keep in the grinder and reuse it. You hear that? And use it. Blending. You remember what is blending, right? Blending is a mixture of different coffee origins. You mix, let's say you mix maybe Ethiopia tastes sweet and acidic, and then Brazil tastes more like cocoa, chocolatey, smooth, and then Robusta tastes bitter and strong. You understand? So you mix, let's say when you do blending, you take that taste of bitterness, you put 10% of that bitterness, and you put 20% of that sweet and fruit, and then you put 70% of Brazilian coffee beans. Then you come up with something unique. You come up with different taste, a unique type of coffee, the unique taste of coffee. Do you understand? That is blending, mixing some things to come up with something unique for yourself. All right, let me just read that. It is a mixture of different coffee beans mixed together and makes one unique flavor. I just said that. All right, and then just there. Don't go through the other things that I just wrote in there. At first, we do this and this and this and this. That I need to fix out. Identifying countries and taste of coffee beans. Identifying country and taste of coffee beans. Identifying countries and taste of coffee beans. Each country has a different taste because of its variety, right? You can be in South Africa, but in South Africa, you taste, in Queenstown will have a different taste variety according to the soil and its surrounding trees and fruits and every plants around there. That will give a different variety for that specific place in Queenstown. You go to East London. East London, they do have a different taste because of the surrounding of their coffee trees. You go to Cape Town. Cape Town will have a different variety because different taste variety. It will taste totally different than the coffee that is in Queenstown. That is in Queenstown, and the taste that is in Durban, in PE, the coffee that is in Johannesburg. They will taste totally different towards each other because of the soil of their varieties. All right. So here it goes to America, coffee beans. Mexico, that's Latin America. Mexico, the taste of Mexican coffee beans, it's the expectations of the coffee from there. It might not be the same, but that is just expectations. Light-bodied and crispy with mild flavor. Mild flavor. When you say mild, you talk about, there's something that you call udongwe. See, udongwe is something that you just eat, and then you just, when you lick it, it has that mildness in it. So it's like mild flavor. Light-bodied, light-bodied, I explained to you guys about light-bodied, right? And there are still more things that you're still going to learn that will explain to you about these kind of tastes. At the moment right now, since you are still new in the coffee field, so you won't understand exactly what they talk about because these things is quite new to you. You don't know if you find light, you don't know you find mild, what is mild, what is this, what is mild, because you're still using sugar. The more the more you stop using sugar in your coffee, that's when you start understanding the beauty of the coffee, the taste, the original taste of the coffee. All right, it's not white people's things. I've heard so many people here in South Africa, they say, you drink coffee like white people. No, it's not white people's thing. It's everyone's thing. You should be able to drink coffee without sugar, because you need to drink the taste of that coffee. You need to enjoy the taste of that coffee, the aroma, everything. It's amazing, to be honest with you. Costa Rica, medium body with clean flavor. Guatemala, all of these are Latin American coffees. Medium body with hint of cocoa and spice. Colombia, light bodied, smooth spice flavor and mellow acidic. African coffee beans. Now we come to our nation, Africa, right? Ethiopia Sidamo, it's wild with berry-like flavor. Ethiopia Yekachefe, medium bodied, sweet with floral aroma. Kenyan, full body with wine-like flavor and bright acidic. That's Kenyan coffee beans, alright? Organic Tanzania, very complex in flavor with aroma with hint of wine with dark chocolate and exotic spice. There's a lot of things that you're still going to learn. You're going to understand all of these things. Do you know that? In this 3 months course. Alright. Zimbabwe, tangy yet earthy with fruit flavor. That's a good thing. African coffee beans, they all have fruity flavor, because we have fruits everywhere around. We are planting. We have very good soil in Africa. You know, so our coffee beans, they have to come up with great taste. It's just that it's just unfortunate that we don't have coffee trees in South Africa. We don't plant coffee trees in South Africa. I think it's about time, guys. If this thing doesn't wake you guys up so that you start planting our coffee trees in South Africa, we make money out of the coffee trees. This is the gold that we can have access to. This is the gold that we can have access to. We don't have access to the normal gold or diamonds. If you are a black person and you are carrying a gold, you'll be arrested, because they will ask, where did you get it? Are you Zamazama or something? You understand? If you are carrying a diamond and you are black, they will ask you, where did you get that diamond? Are you a Zamazama? But coffee, it's a gold that you can control yourself. When someone comes and asks you, where did you get your coffee? Say, I planted it. I have a field. I planted it. So now I'm selling my coffee beans. You have customers coming to buy your coffee beans, and you will increase your farm, your small farm, to be bigger, and you keep on harvesting, making millions out of your coffee farms. It's $7 per kg. You might be cheaper, maybe you're selling $4 or $5. If you sell the cheaper, that means you are calling so many customers to come to you. Because the good thing is you don't have to pay anything. The shipping, the countries, they will do the shipping themselves. Everything, the other people, they will do them themselves. The only thing, you harvest and then you sell your coffee beans. That's all. And you're making money. All right. Then we go to Indonesia. Indonesia, Estate Java. All of these Estate Java things, those are just villages or cities in Indonesia. Estate Java, full body, spicy and intense. And the Yazba injani, man, like you say like that, if you say intense, I don't know, like, and the other taste is like intensity. I can't say it for real. I can't say it. I don't know how it tastes like. That is intense. New Guinea, medium body, rich and mellow balance. Sumatra, full-bodied, earthy with an intense aroma. Sulawesi, full body, smooth and buttery, slightly woody. Brazil is the most sweetest of all. Brazilian coffee beans is the most sweetest coffee beans of all. So I think that is the end of these 4 pages that we are teaching you guys for the beginner, just as an introduction, so that you guys understand about what we're still gonna go through for these whole 3 months. All right, so I hope you guys did understand everything that I teach you guys with. There is a test. Obviously we're going to write tests to understand that you guys, you really did learn and you did read your notes and you do understand this. You will get international certificate when you are qualified on this course, and you will be working anywhere around the world. You will choose for yourself what you want to do. You won't let the situation of how you are living and how you will break the chain in your family. You will break the chain in your family. If poverty was there in your family for decades, for years and years and years, now is the time, is the chance for you to break that chain and change the situation of your family. Learn this, understand this, open doors for other people. Teach others, teach your family. Learn this, go overseas. Also teach your people, teach your family about this. Make them travel outside also with you. Do you know that you can also travel with your family? If you are working that side abroad, you can take your family with you. You can change lives of your family. You can open doors. You can train your family. You can train your sisters, your brothers. You can allow them to go and work that side. You can find them jobs that side yourself. You know, you can break the chain of poverty from your family. You can be that person in your family. So I want you guys to take this thing seriously. It's very important. I wish you guys would see this the way that I'm seeing it. Do you understand? It's not easy. I know it's not easy, but life is not easy. Life is not easy. You need to take things seriously about life. Then life will also take you seriously. So, all right, guys, we are done for today, and I will have to do another online classes, and I will do another one. Probably I'll send it tomorrow morning also, so that other people as well, they will also learn. I think the good thing is to make these videos will be more helpful for everyone. This will be more helpful for everyone. And then also you have to come and write the test so that we can understand that you understand everything like perfectly. Then if you understand everything perfectly, then it's going to be good for us, and we'll give you the certificate. The certificate will be the one that is going to help other people also to understand that you did the training, you did the proper training, you did the quality training of this thing. You understand? So it's very important, guys. All right, let's leave it for now, and we will continue with other training most probably tomorrow. And I'll send everything in a WhatsApp group. All right, ciao guys, sharp.